Happy Saturday to everybody. This is Justin at Utinni Designs. Wanted to get back with you and show you some cool things with the new F2 Ultra UV laser. If any of you are interested in this laser, you can go to the xTool website at this link here, and you will be able to learn more about this incredible laser. So hopefully everything's coming through. Let me know if you can hear me and if the video's good. I'm working with a new mic and a new camera, so hopefully everything's good there. And we will get started on this here before too long. So let me know if you can hear me and everything's good, and we will continue. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be engraving shot glasses. Now, glass is one of those special items that no laser up till now has really done well. CO2 has been the way to go when doing glass without any prep work. Then you have the F1 Ultra or the F2 Ultra or the F2 or F1, and you use tempera paint, and you basically paint the glass with chalk paint or tempera paint, let that dry, and then you engrave on that, and then you wash off the tempera or chalk paint, which is a big mess and an extra step that you don't need to do anymore with the F2 Ultra UV. It uses a UV laser, and it's able to penetrate glass, and in fact, it will do inner glass engraving as well. Which I will show you probably at a later date, but I'll show you an example of it here in a little bit. But today we're going to be focusing on laser engraving shot glasses. And the reason for that is, one, I'm going to show you how to level the shot glass a couple different ways. Now, there are thousands of different ways to do this. My way may not be the best way for you. This is just something to give you an idea of how to do it. So hopefully that works, and we will get started here in just a second. All right, so what we want to do is, first I'm going to show off my new little toy here, my new camera. Hopefully this doesn't slow us down much, but this thing has AI tracking. So what that means is it will automatically zoom in. If I go left, if I go right, it's going to follow me. Now, that may be disorienting in certain video instances, so I'm just going to turn that off. But I just wanted to show we do have a new cam that will allow us to do that. So hopefully that makes things a little bit easier when I'm moving around and doing different things and showing you different items. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into xTool Studio, and we're going to do it this way here. So let's see, we want this one, I think. So here we are in xTool Studio, and I already have some things set up here. My machine's already on, and what I'm going to do is connect it. So we're just going to go up here and connect. It's going to go ahead and take a screenshot of the bed. I do have the cut bed in, and as you can see, the VINs are going up and down vertically. That is the way that you need to put the cut bed in if you're going to use this particular accessory on your F2 Ultra UV. So I'm going to show you a few different ways to set up and level a shot glass. So the first thing you're going to need is a level and a shot glass. So here's our shot glass. And here is a little mini bubble level. Let me blow myself up so we can see this here. Let's do it this way. So here's our shot glass that we're going to be engraving today. And here's a little mini bubble level. Now you can get these on Amazon. There is a link down in the description that is an affiliate link for Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate. It will not charge you anything extra, but I'll get a little piece of the pie when there's orders placed. These things are pretty inexpensive. I think you can get like 5 or 10 of them for like $9. So they're really inexpensive. Pick you up a pack of those. But basically what you want to do is, obviously there's an angle to this shot glass. So it's not flat. It kind of tapers down. So what you want to do is you want to get that bubble level in the machine. And that's what we're going to show you how to do. So let me switch over to the machine here and we will get that set up. So let's go to here. And now we have the inside machine view. So hopefully you all can still hear me with this new mic. And what I have in here is this is just a 3D printed fence that fits down inside these grooves for the laser. So what I want to do is I want to place this roughly in the center. And it's going to be kind of hard to see where the center of this laser is hitting. So here's a little business card just to help us get it in the area. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to level this glass first. And as you can see, the bubble's clear up here, so it's not level. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some shims or some pieces of plastic or acrylic and just get that as level as possible. This is one way to do it. You can do it different ways. Looks like we need to go just a little bit more, so I'm just going to push this up just a tiny bit, and that has the glass level. So now that we know that the glass is level, we need to focus the glass. Well, it's hard for a laser to focus on glass because it's clear, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to place this business card right here. And it can be any business card. This is just the one I'm using. It happened to be Sam Craft's laser focus card that he provides, but it can be any business card. You want something pretty thin, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to close this enclosure, and then we're going to tell the laser in the software to focus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to this view, and we're going to go up here and we're going to autofocus, and it is going to autofocus on that business card. And it's going to take a measurement. It says the measurement's 83.2, and I always like to do it twice just in case, because you can never be too sure. So now we're at 68.8. That seems like it's more doable. Let's do it a third time, see if we get another reading. 68.7, so we're good there. So now what we need to do is remove that business card, and then we're going to drop the focus a little bit. Now, this has been pretty confusing to some people as far as dropping the focus. So I'm just going to explain that real quick. And we're going to go ahead and drop this shield down because it's not going to let me use the laser without it. I can turn that feature off in the laser, but just for your eyes and safety, you want to keep that on unless you have specific glasses. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to refresh this. Now, we know that we have it focused to the business card. We know that the shot glass is level. So now what we need to do is we need to lower the focus a little bit. So up here where your little focus is, It'll give you a reading. You can see that says 68.7 there, okay? So I'm just gonna drop it. I'm gonna drop it down to 67.7, which is a 1 millimeter drop. And that's all we're gonna do. Hang on a second. Hey, Pat's fan, can't stay, but we'll watch later. Just wanted to say hello and hope you're having a great weekend. You too, buddy, and you have a great weekend. Don't worry about not staying, man. It's all good. We're gonna move on with it. So you know, if nothing else, have a good weekend. So what we're gonna do is we've defocused it now. So we've moved the focus from 68.7 down to 67.7. So that's a 1 millimeter drop. Sometimes you need to go further than that. I usually do between 1 and 1.5 millimeters. So if it was 68.7 and now we've dropped it 1 millimeter, let's just drop this down to 67.3. That'll give us kind of an average in between. Now this may vary depending on what shot glass you're using. If it's a thicker glass, if it's a thinner glass, but for the most part, this is a good starting point. So our glass is level. We have focused, we have defocused, we have lowered the focus down roughly 1.3 millimeters. So we should be good to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these logos here that I made up, and we're going to engrave it on this glass. So I would ask the chat to chime in if you would like and tell me which one you want to see engraved on there. Do we want bourbon, just sip it, whiskey, just shoot it, or tequila, eat the worm? Anybody have any suggestions on that? Type it in the chat. If not, we'll just go ahead and shoot one. No suggestions? Okay, well, we'll just pick one then. Let's see, let's do the tequila. So I'm gonna move these off to the side. Now this, in xTool Studio, when you move it out of this area, this working area, it will not engrave. So technically you don't have to turn off the output, but if it's inside this working area just a little bit like so, it will try to engrave it. So make sure it's completely out of the area, or simply turn off the output input button right up here in the corner, right here. So we want those off, we want tequila on, and we want to center that right in the glass. Now centering this is going to be a little bit more difficult. We're going to bring back our business card and just lay it over the top just to get a rough idea of where this is at. Now, there's several different ways you could do this. You could put painter's tape on the shot glass and do it that way. You can also focus with that as well. The issue becomes at some point, you're gonna have to remove that tape. So then you're gonna be moving the glass, thus moving, you know, the area that you're working with, and it just becomes a big mess. So what I like to do is I just like to size this down just a little bit, and we're going to take a square and we're going to draw it around this roughly, around the shot glass. I'm going to also edit this and grab this point and hold down the shift key and use the right arrow key and move it in 3 clicks to where it kind of aligns with the glass. We're going to do the same on this side. Left arrow, 3 clicks where it aligns with the glass. So now we have done, and we're just going to adjust this a little bit. I'm going to make this a different color so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm just going to move it to the red layer, and we're going to turn off the output because we don't want to score or engrave that little template we just made. So what I want to do is I just kind of want to select both of these and horizontal align. That should get me pretty close to the center of the glass. that I want to engrave. So what we're going to do is we're now going to check that with the framing, because the camera on this laser is great. But as you all know, cameras can have some distortion to them with fisheye and everything else. So in fact, I'm going to adjust this just outwards just a little bit, like so. It really shouldn't make that much of a difference, but if we're going to do it, we're going to show you the slow and right way to do it. So now on glass, unless you're doing it on the bottom, you do not have to mirror or reflect or anything else with a vector image. And this is vector. As you can see, I can go in here and I can edit, and all these little points are in here. So it is a vector, and we're going to make this a different color so maybe you can see it a little bit better. Let's just select this. And normally on engraves, I make them blue, but let's go to, let's see, what would make it better for you guys to see? The purple, maybe the red. So now that we have this, we can actually lock this in our layers and turn it off because we don't need it. So now we can see what we're engraving. So now we're going to frame it. And I'm just going to turn this power up to about 6. And first I'm going to frame it with rectangle mode, which means it's just going to put a square where the edges of this graphic is. So I'm going to hit frame. And then we're going to switch back to this camera. And hopefully you'll be able to see it framing. You should be able to see some of it at least. And I'll make it a little bit better by putting this business card on it. So you can see we're basically right where we need to be with this. And we're pretty much in center of the glass. If anything, I would move it maybe slightly to the left or right, but I think we're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to shut this. And then we're going to stop framing. So again, we're going to go back to our screen here, and we're going to click on stop framing. Now our settings for this is I'm using the round lime soda glass material, and I have it on the one-click set. I'm using a 75 power, 100 speed, 1 pass at 300 lines per centimeter, and 40 kilohertz for the frequency. So this is a pretty common setting in the soda lime glass setting you get from xTool. So we're just going to go ahead and preview this. Actually, you can't preview it because it's not supported for this material. So we're just going to go ahead and process it and hit start. And let me get you back over to the main camera, and we'll see how this goes. The important thing is do not move the glass even after this is done. Make sure it looks the way you kind of want before you touch the glass, because once you touch that glass and you move it, the chances of you getting it back in the exact same position, even with the upgraded camera, is pretty slim to nil. So make sure you're happy with it before you move the glass. That's very important. And this is going to take about another 15 seconds, so an estimated 1 minute to engrave this shot glass on the front. I did not use the curved surface. I just used flat surface, and it should make pretty quick work of it. In fact, There it is, it's done. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise this up, and we're going to take a little bit closer look. See if I can get you in here. So there is the shot glass. Now that looks pretty decent to me. If you don't think that looks good, what you can do is you can run it again. I personally think that looks okay. I don't see any errors or anything with it, but you can't hurt it by running it again with the settings that we're using. So all you got to do is just double click the button and it will run it again. We did not move the glass. We did not touch the glass. It's just going to run it again. Now, on certain thicknesses of glass, you do want to be careful when you do this, because even though it's a UV laser and technically they call it a cold laser, it is still hot. Okay, it's just a different way of engraving. It's not that the laser's cold, because there's no such thing. So be careful when you rerun these jobs over glass, but you can usually figure it out pretty quick. I haven't had any glass break on me yet, so fingers crossed on that. But these shot glasses are pretty thick, so I think we'll be okay with this. And again, just to reiterate, now it's finished. We were using settings. Material, we were processing on flat surface for the mode. Material, we were using the round soda lime glass cup. And I adjusted my power to 75%, my speed to 100, one pass, 300 lines per centimeter, and 40 kilohertz for the frequency. That's all I did. Once we leveled the glass and got our focus point and we defocused basically 1.35 millimeters, we were in the glass. If for some reason you ran this and nothing showed up on the glass, don't panic. Don't touch the glass. Put the shield back down and lower your focus another 0.5 millimeter. So if you were at 67.5, drop it to 67 and run the process again. Because certain thicknesses of glass may use a different defocus point. Okay, so don't panic, don't touch it, lower the focus a little bit more, try it again. If it still doesn't do it, lower the focus another 0.5. If you get to the point to where you're more than 2 millimeters below your original focus point, go backwards. So if your original focus point was 68 and now you're at 66, go up to 68.5. Okay. Work that 0.5 area, because that's where the sweet spot is. And it's going to be different for every glass. I may put another shot glass in here and it may be different than 67.3, which is what we're at now. So let's take this shot glass out and take a look at it. Now be very careful anytime you're working with glass, because even though this does not fracture the glass like CO2 lasers, you want to make sure that you don't get any glass shards in your hands. Okay, that's just a safety thing. Just keep that in mind. So we're going to bump back to me, and we're going to show you this glass. Turned out pretty good. So I haven't touched the etching yet. We're just going to take a microfiber and we're just going to rub it, and it will catch the microfiber. Okay, you can probably kind of hear that. But that is an engraved glass. Let me put some of these black gloves down in here so you can see it better. So that is an engraved glass, shot glass with the xTool F2, the xTool F2 Ultra UV. Man, that's a mouthful. And that was done in less than a minute once we set up the leveling of the glass and then the focus of the glass. Okay, so let's run through one more and we will get that going here. So let me pop over to this and we will switch the camera back to this camera. And let's try to do a different way of leveling the shot glass. So this last time we just used shims. Let's try something different. So let's take this cutting plate out. I have a metal business card down here just to keep from tattooing the bed of my laser. And we're just going to take this 3D printed jig here. Now this jig's actually not designed for shot glasses, but I'm just trying to show you that you can make almost anything work. Okay, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. I haven't tested this mic before in the live stream, so I'm just going to center this up here, and we just want to make sure that our laser is in the area of where we're going to put this shot glass. Now you can make custom jigs that will do this for you and keep you centered every time. I'm trying to show you a different way in case you don't have time. Maybe you need to do a project and you don't have a jig. You don't have time to order a new jig. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the shot glass and we're going to drop it right in here. And we're going to check the level. And it looks like we need to adjust this way just a bit. So there may not be a, let's try it this way. Let's see what we do if we do this. See if this is level. And that is not level. But that was, if I can get it to stay. Just trying to show you some different ways that you can get this level here. So let's get a thin metal business card here and just shim it. That's pretty close right there. So I think we're going to call that one good. Now we're going to use our business card again and we're just going to focus that. So again, we're going to come back into our software and we're going to hit autofocus. So let me pull that up here, right here, and autofocus it. Now that says we're at 51.6. So I'm going to do it one more time just for good measure. Always measure twice, cut once, as they say. So now we're at 50.8. So we didn't drop all that much. So again, we're focused to the business card. We're not focused to the glass. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out and turn it off. And we're actually going to engrave this guy. And we're going to bring him in here. Now, this is an image, not a vector. So there's going to be some different settings we're going to have to use. But first, we're going to defocus. So we're at 50.8. So I'm going to drop it to 49.2. Okay, focus has been successful. We can very carefully remove this business card and put our shield back down. And we're going to refresh our camera. Refreshes are free, they don't cost anything, so use them. So as we can see, this is probably too big. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to drag this above here. We're going to take our same little template that we made earlier, and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees because we've moved the glass into a different position. So we're just going to try to match where we want this to hit. And we can zoom in here. And that is way too big. So we're going to reduce the size of this to something about like that. And we're going to select both of these, horizontal align, and then I'm going to do a vertical align on this. And that should get us pretty close to center of where this glass is. Now I'm going to raise this up just a little bit. So now we've, again, set up a different way to get this glass level. We're going to, we set our focus with the business card. We defocused after the business card. So now we should be good on this glass engraving. Now this is a little different. This is an image and not a vector like we used before. So the only thing different about this is an inverted image. Technically, you probably don't have to invert it, but we're going to invert it just the same. If you don't invert it like this, we can try it that way if you want. It makes no difference. But what I did with this image is this is actually an image from a guy online, and I apologize, I forget his name. But he sent it to me. It's pretty good image. What we're going to do is go up here to edit and adjustments. He has it set to 53 on the grayscale for the left side and 161 on the grayscale for the right, and then a 20 of sharpness. I think that's probably okay. For the power, we have, again, process on a flat surface, round soda glass, 500 dot duration, because this is an image, not a vector. You're going to have dot duration instead of just power. We have 85 on the power, 600 on the DPI, and 40% frequency. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a rectangle outline on this and see where it falls on the glass, again with the business card. So let's switch cameras here. You may not be able to see it as well just because of the angle of the glass. But roughly right there. So I think I'm actually going to I'm going to make the image smaller because I think it's right at the edge of where that glass starts to taper. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our image. And we're going to make sure that we are locked on the aspect ratio. And we're just going to shrink this to something like that. And then we're going to bump it up just a hair. Maybe shrink it just a bit more. So we didn't move anything yet, okay? Our glass is still in the same spot. Everything's still in the same spot. So we're going to take that off. We're going to lower our shield. And we're just going to try it inverted. With vectors, you don't have to obviously invert, but images are a different animal. So let's see what we get. So we're going to stop our framing. We're going to make sure that this is what's going to engrave. Again, it will not preview because of it being a glass item. So we're going to go to process. It said it's going to take 3 minutes. So we'll see if this works, and we'll hit start. And we will switch cameras here. There we go. And we will see what happens. I think the reason that you need to invert the image on the glass is so the darks are what engrave and the lights are what stay glass. Now, obviously on vectors, you don't have to worry about that as much, but images you do. So that is the reason for that. So let's see, looks like we got about 2 minutes and 55 seconds left. So let's review our settings. So for this is again is a raster image, like a photo. And we are using 500 dot duration, 85% power, 600 DPI, 1 pass at 40 kilohertz. For the frequency, bitmap mode is Jarvis. So we will see how this engraving comes out. Now there's many different ways that you can do glass. Again, I'm just kind of showing you the shot glasses because these are what I've worked with, but the principles as far as getting your glass level, dropping the focus on the laser past where your focus point is, those are all key things because focus is extremely important on the f2 Ultra UV. It has a smaller dot size, so your focus is more important than ever before. So definitely make sure that you get your focus either to the point of the surface or slightly below it. And it doesn't have to be much. I mean, I'm talking 0.5 millimeters. So let's say, for instance, mine says 49.2. Okay, so let me switch this camera here. So up here it says 49.2. Let's say that was my focus point. I've already adjusted this, so that is lower than what my original focus point was. But let's just say it was 49.2. Drop that to 48.2. That's a 1 millimeter drop. And then engrave. Do not move the object or the item after the engraving's done. Look at it, make sure it's the way you want. If it's not, you can drop that focus again and rerun it. Same settings. Depending on the thickness of glass and the refraction in the glass, you may need to drop it 0.5 instead of 1 millimeter, or maybe 2.5. It's going to take some playing and some experimentation, and not every glass is going to be the same. So keep that in mind when you're doing these. Now it looks like I may have gotten this Stormtrooper a little off center here, the helmet, but that's okay. It's a test glass, and it can be a gift to somebody, they're not going to it's not going to matter really. So this one is now done. And actually, that doesn't look too bad. It's a little off center, but let me bring you in here and show you. So let me switch cameras here. Because I don't want to move it just yet. Hopefully you can see that. So we're going to adjust this camera back to where it was. That looks about right. And I'm just going to look at this. Yeah, I didn't quite get it centered. I'm off to this one side a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. So now I've moved it, so we're past the point of no return. So yeah, it is off to the side a little bit. So again, we come back and we switch cameras back here. So here we go. And here's our glass. Again, do not touch this with your bare hands until you've wiped it, because you will get glass shards in your hands. So yeah, I got it a little off center. Let's see if I can show this to you here. Get this glove in the shot glass. So it is off center, but the engraving did turn out good. That's the important thing. That's what we were wanting. So what you do is you just adjust the focus, or not the focus, but where the item is, and you just bump it over a little bit. So a lot of people like to do the bottoms of shot glasses too. So I have an example of that. And let me grab it real quick. All right. So let me get another piece of black here. So there you can see what we did is we mirrored this vector image. This was a vector, not a raster. So we mirrored it. So what I did is I engraved it just like this, but I flipped the image. So that way, when you look in the bottom of the glass, you see the logo clearly. And again, that's with the F2 Ultra UV from xTool. So very, very cool to be able to do glasses like this. And the same methodology applies to shot glasses. It applies to beer glasses, whiskey glasses, champagne glasses, any type of glass that is a cup or a cylinder or whatnot, or you can process using the flat surface. Now, if you're wanting to use the rotary, it's a little different. You have to set up the rotary, you have to get your rotary going, and then you have to design it to where when it rotates, the laser will continue engraving as the glass rotates. But it's very similar setup because you're still wanting to get a level glass, okay? And then the rotary is doing the work. So it's still the same concept to get that or this And yes, that one's off center. And then here's the first one we did. We nailed it. Tequila, eat the worm. Oh, my camera's focusing on me instead. There we go. Oh, and now my camera completely shifted. So let me turn off the, let me reset my camera here. Nope, that didn't do it. Bear with me for a second while my camera software reboots itself. Again, new camera, so first time using it. But we will get it back on me. As soon as it boots up. There we go. So AI tracking. There we go. And now we'll turn off AI tracking. So there's the first glass we did. The second glass that we got a little bit off center, but still turned out well. And this was an image versus the vector. And then I can show you the inner engraving. Oh, turn it the right way. So again, the most important thing is to get your glass level, defocus it slightly, usually by 1.5 millimeters, roughly. Get your settings, which for images will vary, but for vectors, you're going to be in the range of 75 power, 100 speed, 300 lines per centimeter, and 40 kilohertz. So that's just a real quick and dirty how to get a shot glass level, how to defocus the laser, how to laser a shot glass with the f2 Ultra UV. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment area. And I hope you like and subscribe this video. It helps me, it helps the channel, it helps YouTube let people know that, hey, this video had some information that I was able to gather or like. So other than that, there's really not much else to doing glass. There's all sorts of different tips and tricks for different types of glass. I was just focusing on the shot glasses today. I will be also doing more videos in the future, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notifications so you'll know when I'm going live, and you can learn more about the different types of things that I do with not only the xTool lasers, but also 3D printers like the ones behind me, and graphic design in general. So if there's no other comments or questions, we will get this party going. And let's see, I think that's it. So again, thank you for tuning in, and until next time, may the force be with you.